Speaking of People's Party, they sent out an email. So I have to ask, and I want to hear it from you. Are you considering running in 2024?
So I'm considering it, right? Because I wish there was someone like me running that, I mean, in a sense that had the message of don't blame your neighbor. Your neighbor is being oppressed by the same motherfuckers that you are being, that is oppressing you, right? They're on the same boot that came down during COVID on you, came down on your neighbor. It's not their fault. It's the oligarchy's fault, who, by the way, have been lying to you and funneling money upward through this COVID all the way through it. You know, just just little things like, why can't I buy a baseball mitt where there's one guy working at my local sporting goods store on the corner, but I can buy one from Amazon when they got 1,000 people working inside of a, you know what I mean, during COVID when it started. So why was Target and Amazon and all those and Walmart, why were they allowed to stay open, but everybody's pizza joint had to, you know what I mean? It's like these, we weren't allowed to have these conversations. And now we find out that it was all, they were lying at every turn. And, you know, I just, anyway, so I hope someone like me who doesn't deem, what Christian Smalls did is what needs to be done. And that's what, as soon as you try to do that, that's what wakes them up. What I mean is, as soon as you organize along class lines, Christian Smalls, when he was on my show, I said, you know, that Amazon warehouse that you organized, that's in Staten Island. Now, did you just do it with the lefty liberals, or because there's lots of Trumpers there. There's lots of Staten Island. I know who lives in Staten Island. And he said, no, I had to organize with all. Of course, that's how you organize. And I've said this since the day I had the Boogaloo Boy on my show. And I had the next guy on claim to be a union organizer. And I said, what's your message for a guy like that? Who's pro-gay, pro-LGBTQ, pro-Black Lives Matter, anti-war, anti-cop, anti-Trump, but he's a gun nut. What's your message for him? He goes, I don't have a message for that guy. I'm like, well, that's why you're a shitty fucking organizer and nobody ever heard of you. Because that's not how you organize. You don't go, hey, who's here's a Trumper? You're out. Who here's a Boogaloo Boy? You're out. Who here's a gun nut? You're out. Who's here's a libertarian? You're out. Who's here's a Proud Boy? You're out. Okay, who's left? Now we're going to organize with you. That's not how organizing works. It's the exact opposite. That doesn't scare them. What scares them is when all those people realize they have a common interest, that they have what binds them together is greater than what divides them apart. That is the thing that scares them. And I wish someone would run with this message, because the problems we have aren't left, right anymore. The majority of people want government to help them with their health care. The majority of people want to end empire and imperialism and invest that money back here. If you ask the people, they want to take that $40 billion and give it to the top 20 cities in America and make them better and end homelessness. They would say yes. These aren't left-right issues. A living wage isn't a left-right issue.
Yep.
So healthcare isn't education. These aren't left-right issues. These are us against them. Censorship isn't a left-right issue. Ending those wars aren't a left-right issue. Investing in our infrastructure instead of bombs isn't a left-right issue. So anyway, I wish someone would come along with that message, but they're all, even Bernie Sanders, which is why his campaign was such a failure. He sounded like every other goddamn Democrat. Donald Trump is the most corrupt, sexist, misogynist, blah, 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 racist, blah, blah. It's like, dude, that's not where it's at. They were having a contest to see who can hate Trump more. That's not what people were interested in. People were interested in someone doing something for them. People were interested in you calling out the people who control both parties. That's what's attractive. That's because people know it now. So I hope someone greater, smarter, and better than me comes along that I could help support in their challenge to try to wake people up to this idea that the thing that really scares the oligarchy is us coming together. And the only thing that's actually going to help us is if we come together along real class lines, left, right, in the center, everything else. And, you know, my message reaches a lot of people. You know, when I used to go to George Carlin's shows, I would always marvel at his audience and how diverse it was. You know, there were kids, there were senior citizens, there were guys in suits, there were hippies, there were blacks, there were Mexicans, there were Asian, there was everything at his show. And, you know, because he had that message, it wasn't left, right, it's us against them. He knew that there was an owner class and that they don't give a fuck about you and that they're going to be coming for your Social Security. He knew all that.
Yep.
And that's the thing that scares them. And don't forget that. I never got more pushback on my show than when I interviewed a Boogaloo boy. And that they can't have that. They can't have people coalescing and organizing around issues. They have to keep us divided. And everything, you see how everything gets reported today, it's in a way that polarizes people. The COVID, somehow vaccines are now left, right. COVID is now left, right. No. And then if you have a critique of that, they say you're right wing. No, I'm to the left of you. I'm anti-mandate. That's from a left-wing perspective. You're all right. No, but that's all they have. As soon as you get to the left of the Democratic Party, that's what they say you are. Oh, you say you're all right. No, I'm to the left of you. Anyway, I really appreciate you having me on, Sabby. And the message is, don't get distracted by cultural issues. Don't get distracted by left-right issues. Don't let identity politics get you distracted. You know what I said? I said the joke I used to do in my act is if it was 1860, the Democrats would be bragging about their first transgendered slave owner. Yep. That's how identity politics are used to keep you down. So don't fall for it. Don't take the bait, and organize along class lines.
Bullshit. Bullshit. You're talking bullshit.